Good morning, children. We shall start the first phylum Porifera. And here Porifera means it is a very primitive organisms where we can see only the multicellular, not a tissue. Why we are telling multicellular, not a tissue means the cells they have a more intercellular spaces between them, so we can't see the tissues. That's why we are call it as a multicellular organisms. So please write and keep all those points. It is a multicellular organisms. We won't call it as a tissue, but it is a, because why we are not call it as a tissue means there we can see much intercellular spaces. Is that clear, children? And why he has kept Argach Whittaker has kept under this animalia, why not in the protista means because it is a multicellular, but only one animal group, that is a Porifera. It doesn't contain any nervous system. It doesn't contain any nervous system. We'll quickly see with small headings and then we'll go through the points. So you write it is a commonly called as sponges. So Porifera means you want to remember a common example is sponges. And where we can see this Porifera animals, we can see in marine, and it is of asymmetrical body that we have learned under symmetry. It is of asymmetrical body. And here it is a primitive multicellular with cellular level of organization only. It is not a tissue. Why means because we can see more air spaces between cells. That's why we won't call it as a tissue. Instead, we would call it as a cellular level of organization. Okay, this is all the introduction regarding the Porifera group. Apart from that, you want to remember what is the condition, whether it will comes under diploplastic or triploplastic, children. It will obviously it will comes under a diploplastic. So please write and keep it. It will be useful for your competitive exam. It is a diploplastic, meaning you can able to see only two layers, external ectoderm and the internal endoderm. That is the germ layer. So that is the germ layer. So what is the germ layer of Porifera? Diploplastic. What is the germ layer of Porifera? Diploplastic. Is there any head or body or tail like structure? There is no head and all. Okay, no head, and there is no tail, or there is no locomotory organ. There is no locomotion in this animal group. So it will be along with the water current, it will be moved from one place to another place in their larva stages, but once it's mature, it will be in one particular place only. Is that clear, children? And so here you want to remember very important characteristic only we can see in Porifera is water transport or water canal system. Okay, water transport or canal system. What do you mean by water transport or water canal system means? Now look at this structure. This is an example for Porifera group. Here through the ostia. Now look at this small. This is only we can call it as ostia. This is on all small pores we can able to see in your sponges. Even it was the picture was given in your NCERT book, page number 49, first picture and second, third, all those we can see small hole like structures. That small hole like structures we can call it as ostia. In turn we can call it as pore also, no problem, pore or ostia. So this pore or ostia, through that water will get inside into the animal. So this is only we are called as water canal system or water transport system. So water is entering into the pore. Okay, water is entering into the pore or ostia. This pore or ostia will present throughout the body of the Porifera group, sponges and other example like Euspongia, Spongilla. So that's why we are call it as water canal system or water transport system. Is that clear, children? So here what is the peculiar characteristic? Water transport or water canal system is present. And what is that? It is all small opening called ostia present on the body wall So which water enters leading to the central body cavity called spongiocele that leads out through the single large opening called osculum. I'll explain with the help of diagram. So now look at this is a diagram of sponge. One representation of sponges. Now I am telling the water is entering into the body through pore or ostia. So if water is entering, that's why we are call it as water canal system or water transport system is present. Once the water is entered, the water will be there in the cavity. What is that cavity? This cavity only we can call it as spongiocele. Okay, this cavity only we can call it as spongiocele. S-P-O-N-O, spongio, S-P-O-N-G-O-C-O-E-L. Okay, spongiocele. So this seal is different from coelomate. Okay, Porifera comes under acoelomate because there we are talking about germ layer. There only here in this only two germ layer is there and we cannot see any cavity between the germ layer. That's why we are call it as acoelomate. Porifera groups are acoelomate. But this seal is a cavity we can see in the body, not in the germ layer. That you want to understand clearly. So here the water is enter into the spongiocele, that is the cavity which is present the inner part of the body. Once the water was enter it means through that water only it used to get a food item because it won't move from one place to another place, no? But it needs food. So the water will contain so many zooplanktons. We have learned under Protista, no? Slime mold, like that we have learned all those group, no? Zooplanktons, phytoplanktons. All those single celled eukaryotes will be in the water. So along with the water, even the single celled organisms will get into the spongiocele. So this sponges will filter the water, will filter the food from the water. After filtering, again it will release the water from its body through a osculum. Upper part we can able to see the osculum. This is the upper part. Okay, and through that the water will be escaped. Okay, the water will be escaped. So the water is entering to the pore or ostia. It will be sometime it will be in the spongiocele, and after filtering of food it will escape from the osculum. Now the picture it is showing in the outer topper portion, but it actually the osculum will be in the now this structure you can able to see clearly, children. So this and all the sponges. So through this osculum the water molecules will come out like that. The water will enter into the sideways, and through the upper part again the water will come out from the sponges. Is that clear? So now we have learned three concepts. What are those? Ostia or pore and spongiocele, and after filtering food the water will get out from the sponges through the osculum. Is that clear, children? Is that clear? So this is the concept regarding that. Food enters the body along with the water and ostia, and here goinocytes or collar cells leave the spongiocele and canal in the body wall and trap the food, digest it within the intracellular digestion. And you read it, I'll explain. Body has a skeleton made up of spicules or sponging fibers. It is a hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means we can see both male and female organisms in the same animal body. Both female and male will be present in the same body. That's why we can call it as hermaphrodite. Is that clear, children? I'll explain the concept with the help of diagram. Now you are thorough with four parts, no? Pore, ostia, spongiocele, osculum. Apart from that, spongiocele is only central cavity. Apart from that, you have some more interesting concept. Now imagine this is the outer layer of the sponges. Okay, this is outer cell layer, and inner also we can see the cell layer. Okay, inner also we can see the cell layer. What is the inner cell layer? Inner cell layer only we can call it as collar cell. Inner cell layer only we can call it as a collar cell. And here I told you there is no external flagellae for locomotion, but here small finger like flagella will be attached with the collar cell to get water frequently, because this will help for the movement. So this flagella only is helping to allow the water to get inside the sponges through the ostia. Is that clear? So flagella, there is no big flagella for locomotion. Only a small flagella will be there. It was attached to the collar cell. So we'll tell flagella will be attached to the inner part of the sponges. Inner part of the sponges. What is the inner layer of the sponges? Inner layer of the sponges is collar cells. Is that clear? So this collar cell is attached with the flagella. And here the water is entering to the pore, no? And we know the water will contain so many zooplanktons and phytoplanktons. It will be filtered, and where the digestion will take place, because here there is no digestive organ at all, because it is a cellular level. So where the digestion would take place, digestion will be there in the collar cell. Digestion will be there in the collar cell. So in the collar cell we can see a food vacuoles. Inside the collar cells we can see the food vacuoles. These food vacuoles will have enzymes. How we have learned in amoeba, no? There we can see food vacuoles. Digestion will take place as a intracellularly. That's why we are call it as digestion is intracellular. So food vacuoles will be there in the collar cells. This food vacuole will help to digest the food like zooplankton and animal plankton. And after digestion, by simple diffusion, the energy was spread throughout the animal body. And also removal of the waste also will take place through the diffusion process. And also respiration also by diffusion process. Is that clear, children? So no digestive system, but the digestion was intracellular. Within a cell, it was done by the food vacuole, by the some enzymes which was secreted. So where the digestion would take place, it will take place in the collar cell. And what is the digestion mode? Intracellular mode. And nervous system, I told you the nervous system is totally absent in the porifera. And how the excretion? Excretion by simple diffusion. How respiration? Respiration also by simple diffusion. Is that clear, children? And now look at that structure. You can able to see some beautiful star-like structure. So the beautiful star-like structures, no, this is only we can call it as spicules. This is only we can call it as spicules. Actually the spicules are present between outer layer of cell and inner layer of the cell. What is that spicule? Spicules are nothing but the fiber or spongin fibers. Okay, spicules are nothing but the spongin fibers. This is only skeleton for the sponges. How we have a skeleton bone for our body, no? Like that, Porifera, simple animal, will contains what? The spicules, that is a spongin fibers. This is only skeleton for the sponges. Is that clear, children? So what and all we have covered till now? We have covered about ostia and collar cell, outer cell, central cavity or sponge cell, osculum and spicules, intracellular digestion, and hermaphrodite. Both male and female will be inside the body even. And here you want to understand one concept, children. Porifera will undergo both the reproduction, asexual also, sexual also. Asexual by simple like how we can see in Hydra, no? By simple fragmentation it will form a new organisms. Sexual reproduction, it will form male as sperm, female as ova. Sperm and ova will be produced only in the one sponge even, and at maturity the sperm will come out from the sponges through the collar cells or through the opening through the posterior. It will swim in the water. It will reach the other sponges where the ovum will be there. There fertilization would take place and we will get a zygote. And here zygote will undergo division, and after division here we can see first larva and then adult. That's why we are call it as indirect development. So sponges are always we are call it as indirect development. What do you mean by indirect development, children? Indirect development means the zygote directly it won't give a adult like structure. Instead we can see one between stages, that is larva. Now imagine a frog. Frog, we can see larval stage and adult stage. Both are morphologically different, but it is not in the case of human beings. Human beings, we can see the adult structure from the first event. There is no larval stages in the human being. Like that, if zygote will undergo larval stages and then adult stage, means that kind of development we can call it as indirect development. Is that clear, children? That's all about the Porifera group. That's all about the Porifera group. So you just read all those points in your textbook also. Write and keep it as a write and keep the running notes in your classwork also. Is that clear, children? And the examples were given in your book. Examples for Porifera cycane and Euspongia and Spongilla. So Porifera is a very interesting group. We have covered the Porifera. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me. You are most welcome. Thank you, children.